Hi, I'm Patty with StudioR12 Stencils, and today I'm going to show you how to take 4 stencils and work them together to make one beautiful soft floral project. All right, let's get started. We are going to start with our frame. My frame stencil is the exact size as my board. It's the size number, it's the 18-inch size. I don't want my frame to be my center of interest, and it is the warmest color on this piece, and because warm is going to be like, you know, yellow is bright kind of thing, I don't want this to be a screaming frame, so I'm going to show you how to tone your screaming down. So we're going to use the background color, and we're going to use our number 25, so that's number 22 plus number 25, and just brush mix to tone that color down. So we're going to go over here, we're going to swirl. And then these are straight lines, so if you go straight line with your stencil, you can sometimes lift. So what I'll do is I'll just push this down, and actually I'll use my multi-masker to kind of lead the way. And I will push him down where he's popping up just a little bit, so I want him really flat. There we go. And okay, let's take a peek and see. Okay, that looks pretty. I'll get the rest of this done with that same color mix, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do next. All right, I've got everybody all just base the same color. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, I think, a smaller brush into the number 44 brown, and I'm going to wipe it off on my paper towel where I was blending that yellow, so it kind of blends in with that color. And I'm going to take all of the lower angles, wherever it's under. So I'm making these long ones be my top angles. And I'm just scumbling right next to where they come under, and that will give it an illusion of being underneath. Okay, so turn your board as you go. Okay, you're going under, you're going under. If we want to take a little peek at how that's looking. Oops, I got to get a couple more things. You're there. You're there. I'm gonna take a little peek, and that's gonna make it, I've got this really taped down because of straight lines. And then there's a little peek about how that's gonna look like it's shaded. But I have a little trick we're gonna do after I get done with all these shades. All right, next what we're gonna do is we're going to use our Decor Americana Splendid Gold, and we are going to put just a little bit of jazz all over this frame. I've got a clean brush. We're going to neutralize on the paper towel, really wiping that off. And then we're going to just give it that little bit of jazz. I'll pick up from my brushed off area. Let's take a peek, see what we look like. And so that just gives it that little bit of gold. I probably could be just a little bit more strong because I'm using just light pressure. See how fast this goes? Okay, and let's do a little bit of masking. I'm gonna go into my gold, into my cream. I've got a couple of these shadows that are sticking out just a little bit too much for me. So I'll just go over them. So I should have had just a little bit more of my cream in my brush, and that would have been perfect. Okay, time to see what the frame looks like. Okay, ta-da, that looks so good. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is we've got some greenery and we've got a word. So we're just going to kind of mix and match on here. So I'm gonna do an offset with my grace. And what I'm gonna do is use the edge of my board for straight. So when you have something that's straight, you can use that to identify whether or not you are putting things on right. We always tape in two places, and I'll show you why right now. This guy's got a little bend. So if I only tape in one spot, I can move this stencil all over the place. So now I'll retape it and then make sure I'm straight. Come to my other side. And now when I give him a wiggle, he doesn't move. Okay, so what color do I want this word to be? I think I want this word to be brown green. So I'll take my stencil, my dome brush, sorry, and use number 44 with number 43. And flip my, okay. And then we're just gonna go and give him, he's gonna be a soft word. He's not gonna be strong. So notice I'm swirling. I'll probably do 2 coats though, just because sometimes swirling when you're using a darker color can look splotchy. If you are enjoying, I'm gonna leave that period off. If you are enjoying the content, make sure you give us a thumbs up because it really helps our algorithm on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna reload with my brown and my green. And now that I've got my first load of paint in my brush, I need to spend just a little bit more time on my paper towel. And make sure I'm dry. If your paint is still wet, when you put your wet paint on, you can run the risk of digging a hole. So wet paint is attracted to wet paint, and that the two of them will attach and pull off, and then you'll have a hole to fix, and that's never fun to do. Okay, so I'm doing gentle pressure, just evening out the colors. All right, so let's take a little peeky poo, see if we like it. Perfect, nice and even. That's awesome. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the greenery. I've got another video, which we will link in this video, that is how do you make the greenery fit your background color perfectly. So I show you how to do the greenery on a black background and on a white background and tell you all the reasons for all the things that you're gonna do. So if you wanna dive deep into why, then go check that video out. So we're gonna use 2 stencils, and you can see that I've already used these for that project. Stencils are eminently reusable, and we also have a video on how to clean your stencils. So if you are going to be using a strange color, red is a really guilty color. Red tends to come off of the stencil and blend with the colors. So if you have red on your stencil, make sure you go watch the video on how to clean your stencils. Clean it before you use it, or if you're painting on like a white background, you might end up with pink. So that's a good reason to clean a stencil. I tend not to clean stencils until I've used them like 5 or 6 times. Okay, so we have a fine and frilly, and we've got a bold leaf. We're gonna keep it inside this frame and not go outside of this frame. We'll use our multi-maskers, and may need to use my multi-maskers with tape to keep them anchored. So I'm gonna take care of that now. I could also just use tape and keep my edges clean that way. So I'm gonna go here. I do like not using tape everywhere. Number one, I don't like the huge amount of waste. I don't like having to be precise when I tape because tape is stretchy and tape tends to move. And so I like to just have little anchor points right there, and I think that'll be enough. Okay, so we're going to use this stencil this way, all the ways, and we're going to have these greeneries escape into, let's see, we want it to kind of come up a little bit here. So my multi-masker is already gonna get moved, so I don't accidentally stencil over. So we're gonna go into our mother color, which is our background color. We're gonna go into our lightest green, which is number 54. And we're gonna neutralize a little bit more of the light color. And we want some of these escaping into on. So I'm gonna go super soft. So soft I can't see anything happening. Is anything happening? Yeah, there it is. Make sure if you're flipping your stencil that you are letting it dry or wipe it off. Like these guys. So when I'm doing a technique like this, I want to see a big area of very faded background, and then I want my concentrated strong colors to be down in the corner. Again, so we'll just keep building this frame. I want it to come up into my grace just a little bit. Yeah, I like it. Okay, now that I have that base going, now I'm going to pull a little bit more depth into it. So this is the background of the very furthest away leaves. Now I'm going to pull some closer in with the same stencil, and we'll do our strongest with the darkest color. So I'll go straight into the number 54, and I might go, I'm just going to go ahead and mix 54 and 43 together. I want a little bit more of, so this one is super yellow looking, and then this one's super neutral. I don't want to skip for a middle background color into a bright yellow because the sunlight's not going to hit the middle of your shrubbery. So you want to make sure to keep yellow out of the middle and the back layers. Okay, so now we do something different, different alterations of leaves. And we do them stronger. And I don't like how that one goes straight across, so I'm not going to do him. Yeah, see how that just, that's my very back, and now it moves forward. It's so pretty. I like everything that's going on with this one. Okay. And I'm not going to neutralize because I want the bottom to be a little bit stronger in color. Okay, get a little hair and a little hair, wipe them off as you see them. Next, we're gonna get a little teeny bit of greenery up here while we've got the colors out. That just drops that down in there. I think we might need one more. Something going on here. Let's dangle this guy down into the grace. Yeah, I like it kind of coming into the piece. Okay, so next we're gonna go into our heavier greenery, and we're gonna see what we'll see. We want to drop everything down. It's a couple of inches drop every time you move to a new color or new element. So now we're going to get into some of these really vibrant colors. And I think because this is a quiet piece and it's a soothing piece, we're going to mix. We got to do our neutral colors. So we're going to do number 43. I'm going to go into our khaki green and make that into, it's got a yellow color to it. So, and then I'm also going to mix a little bit of number 41. So I've got a 3-way color mix. And this is going to be way stronger. So we'll take a peek and make sure we like it. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. We can go in with a little bit of a stronger base to anchor that down. Yeah, that looks so good. You guys, this is such a fun technique. If you're liking this, make sure, give us a thumbs up. Remember that we are live on Facebook and on YouTube on Tuesdays at noon Eastern time. And subscribe and ring that bell. Okay, then we'll go here. I'm choosing elements that are cupping in the shape of the frame. Now I was heavier handed with that, and so this is going to be wet and this is going to be wet, so I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer. You don't want to be messing with stencils on top of wet paint. All right, I am dry and ready to go. So we are going to pop up here with something strong. Okay. Ooh, look what I did. I did it by accident. Because I had loaded that number 58 in with that green to anchor it down on the bottom of these, it was more in my brush and it adds just another whole piece. So I'm actually gonna call that the happiest kind of accident. And I'm gonna use that to add another element. So I'll sprinkle a couple of those different colors around. Yeah. It's actually super exciting. I love it. Okay, I need a little bit of something going on here. Yeah. Okay, so now I'll go back to my other green color that we were working with. Remix that. Brush mixing really makes sure that all your colors are jibing together because you are shoving the paint together, whereas if you use just a palette knife, you might have stuff that doesn't get mixed up. Okay, so now we need a couple of low pieces. And maybe we need something to go in front of him. Yeah. Okay, and then we need a couple of higher up things. I am out of color. Okay, so we've got our paint mixed. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, we might need one piece of dark up here. I'm gonna flip it around just so that I can get the right look of it. I'll run this right through the edge right there. Okay, and then something that I think would be very nice on this is to add a little bit of spatter. So I'm going to take the tape off my maskers. And I've got to figure out how to mask my edges. So I think I'm going to use paper towels to do that. Okay, masked away. Now we're going to use a White Wonder, which is a brush that is got these nice shaved little, like it's almost like when you get a haircut and they use the thinning snips on it to make it not so thick. That's what they've done right there. And then it's also oval and it's also tapered. It's a really cool brush. I think everybody needs one if you're a painter, crafter, painter. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the green. I'm gonna go into number 43. I'm gonna get it runny. I want it to be like ink or like thin milk or cream. I use a heavy handled brush, which I'm using the feathering brush. It's got a perfect handle for this. And then I just wanna kind of go around my edges, just like it's little sprigs of something, something going on. And I wanna do it in the direction of my sprigs. A little bit around the edge. And now I wanna go into something dark. So I'll use my green and I'll use my brown. Always tap off on your palette. And if you have nice things laying around your spattering area, the spatter zone, please make sure that you move them away because they will jump everywhere. So make sure that you protect your stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna get some heavy spatters down here. Up here where it disappears. One more thing, I think we need gold. So thin my gold and let's go just here and there. Maybe keep it out of the middle. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Now, spatters stay wet for an immensely long time. So you wanna be very respectful of spatters and you want to dry them thoroughly before you start touching your project. They will smear. They are ugly when they smear. All right, when I'm looking at this, I've got it all dry. I do think I wanna settle that down just a little bit. It's a little bit floating in space. So I'll mix 44 with 43 and give myself just a little anchor. It's really subtle, but it really adds a lot of nice depth. Okay, it was a little bit like white and green. It was a little bit much, so we settled them all down. I hope that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I think painting greenery is one of my favorite things I've done in a really long time. Make sure that you give us the hearts and the love, subscribe on YouTube, and then ring that bell. And then make sure to see us live on Tuesdays on Facebook and on YouTube, and we'll see you there.